Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs Show. Happy Tuesday morning. I hope we're all okay. I hope we're all right. I hope we are all looking after ourselves. In this video, we are going to be obviously talking about last night's fan forum. There's a couple little bits of info coming from it. So we're talking about that. We'll be talking about the boys out on loan, as we always do on a Tuesday morning with the loan roundup. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. So there's plenty to talk about. There's plenty to get into. Just want to say that if you're watching this and you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And to give you a quick heads up as to the plan of action, we will be doing the Carabag preview later today, maybe in the afternoon, maybe in the early evening. I'm not too sure just yet. So we'll be doing the preview for Thursday night's game today. I think that's all I need to bring to anyone's attention right this second. Morning Spurs, morning Sonia, morning Adiz, Gonzo, Dan, Alez, Azza. Morning everyone. Yeah, we'll come to the forum in a bit. We'll start with the loan roundup first, if I'm honest. It's the more important thing in my opinion. But we'll come to the forum in just a second. That's right, Adiz, mate. That's right. You've been doing your thing. You've been busy. That's the important thing. Let's talk about the guys out on loan, because I think we had probably the worst week so far, because a few of our players were playing, you could say, against the bigger boys in their division. We've got players that are out injured. We've got all sorts going on at the moment. So yeah, it's not great at the moment. But what I'll do is I'll start with the two boys out in Belgium for Westerlo, which is Alfie Devine and Luka Vuskovic. So losing 2-1 at home to Antwerp. And the two goals for Antwerp were scored by former Spurs boy, someone that we all know very, very well in Toby Alderweireld, scoring a 95th minute winner as well. In this game, Vuskovic and Alfie Devine played the full 90 minutes. So that was very, very nice. Alfie played in the 10 role. Supposedly they play a 3-4-1-2. He's playing in the 10 role. Vuskovic playing at right centre back. Supposedly Alfie had a decent game. Obviously not in terms of victories and things like that, but he had a decent game, all things considered. Vuskovic, I think, was the guy that gave away for the corner for Alderweireld to score in the 95th minute. So, but look, Alfie's playing, which is nice. I can't lie, it is nice, because we've got some players at the moment who aren't playing, and it is nice when we do have a player or two that is playing. So he's starting, which is good. Morning, Andy. Hope all is well. Chat, wishing you all well. Also, morning, Mikey. I'll probably look better than I feel at the moment. I won't lie. Feeling a little bit rough. I think it's the moving from 28, 29, 30 degree heat to, the high teens, the cloud, the rain. So, it's, I'll slowly get there, but it's a bit of a fever. So there you go. Fresh stream looking sharp. Cheers, Luke, mate. How are you? No more holidays for you. I had no one to watch. All the others are negative nutters. Yeah, no more holidays for me. That is absolutely me done for the rest of the year. I promise. There are no more holidays. To the point, I think I even need to renew my passport. That'll be the last time I go away with that passport, which I think I need an update. I think I'm like 18 in my picture or 17 in my picture. So, I look like an old man now compared to that young man in the picture. Anyway, moving on though. Coming over to Espanyol, losing 4-1 at Real Madrid. They did take the lead though, to be fair. But Alejo Veliz hadn't started this game. He did start the last 5, didn't start this one. He came on at half-time and it was 0-0. I think Espanyol actually took the lead. They took the lead firstly, which I will just double-check so I don't give you wrong information. Where did I put Espanyol? Here we go. Yeah, Espanyol. So, yeah, they did take the lead through Thibaut Courtois' OG. And then Real Madrid obviously came back around. I mean, they had 3 times the shots, which was 31. They had 14 shots on target, 73% possession, 9 corners. I think it was a Real Madrid job where they just battered Espanyol pillar to post. So it's a tough one because Espanyol, obviously, that's not a game that Espanyol will be there trying to win. That's not That's not going to make or break their season. They could lose 20-0 and it won't make or break their season. The teams that are in around them right now, Lagan, you might say Valladolid, Getafe, Las Palmas, Vallecano, those sort of teams, they're the teams that they're going to care about. The Real Madrids of the world, it's not really relevant. But, again, he's playing. And the thing is, with the Sevilla loan that he had last season, he wasn't playing. So even if he is only getting 45 minutes, 60 minutes here and there, it really is better than nothing because he wasn't getting any minutes last season. Moving over to the other club in Spain with Brian Hill. They've had a pretty rough time of things at the moment, having played Barca last weekend. They played midweek against PSG, losing 1-0, which Brian did start. Brian's starting a lot of football out at Girona at the moment. He's having a decent time. And then he didn't actually... Did he... Hang on. Let me double check that. He didn't start against Valencia, but he did come off the bench. So again, another thing with the two boys out in Spain is they're both starting. And I can't lie, it's bloody nice to have those guys starting. You know what I mean? Here we go. I had 10% training last Friday. I have a trip tomorrow for an architecture course. It's for a primary. Oh, nice, Adese. Morning. Sorry to hear you're not feeling good. Well, the fan forum last night should be called Fan of Levy Forum with some questions asked. Yeah, there were some interesting ones. I saw a lot of people getting upset about that child saying, who's your favorite player at the club? Look, I don't mind that question. Yes, maybe it would have been nice to have questions that were a bit more relevant to the future of Spurs, but I don't mind it. At the end of the day, people look too much into that question as a make or break of the whole forum, Hi, Andy, eagerly awaiting Qarabag and United matches. Absolutely cozy. Lo Celso scored again. Yeah, Lo Celso scored and got sent off yesterday. Hopefully Qarabag won't wreck, mate. We should be beating teams like Brentford. Well, we did. We did, Bella. Would Ange play full strength on Thursday? It won't be full strength, no. No, it won't be full strength. But I think it'll be a mixture of first 11 and sort of the backups, because there is the issue. Right. The issue is the Carabao Cup, revenue-wise, there is no money in the Carabao Cup. One European game makes more money for Spurs than winning the Carabao Cups. There is absolutely no money in the Carabao Cup, right? Which for us fans is annoying because obviously we want to win that trophy, but for the club, they're not going to prioritize that over Europe, right? So when you saw the team against Coventry, I think that was more of a full-on rotation. I don't think you're going to see the same thing against Qarabag. I think you see something not far off similar, but I don't think it'll be the same. But anyway, we'll come to the preview a little bit later. We've been two months. Let that sink in. But the sink's in the bathroom. I can't let it out of the. I can't let it out of the bathroom. Can't let it in here. It's a dad joke for you. I never get to go against City. Which one? I always like Lamela more than Lo Celso for some reason. Well, Lamela had a real Spurs attitude, but I think we all kind of romanticized Lamela a little bit too much, in my opinion. Just gonna say that. Can't believe Celso has played 3 and scored 2 in his last. He couldn't string 2 matches together for us, but that's true. This will be Ange his second season. More to start on Thursday. Can't suffer Timo for another minute. I don't think he'll start, but he'll be on the bench. That's all right, Bella. It's important to win with Qarabag, but for most important, we continue and establish momentum with a win at Manchester. Well, we'll talk about Manchester a little bit later anyway. So anyway, moving over, let's talk about Manchester United a little bit now. Barnsley played Manchester United midweek on the Tuesday. So did the loan roundup. On the Tuesday night they played. Barnsley lost 7-0. Matthew Craig coming off the bench. Again, that game's not making or breaking their season. It really, not to say it's irrelevant, but it really isn't a big deal. But Matthew Craig was back in the first team for the weekend against Burton Albion, winning 2-1. That's more like it for them. I mean, started the season really, really well, actually. I mean, if you're wanting goals, go watch a Barnsley game because played 7, they've scored 12, they conceded 10, but they're sitting third. So they've won 4, drawn 1, and lost 2. So look, if you're wanting goals and galore and things like that, watch Barnsley. Good Lord, watch Barnsley. Giving an update on Phillips. Phillips didn't play for Stoke, I believe, concussion protocol from a ball smashing him in the face in the midweek game. Can't remember who it was against. Sorry about that one. Oxford United, Scarlett's off the bench again. Let's see how many. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to double check how many minutes he got. Right, so he got about 25 minutes in a 2-1 loss away to Bristol City. I mean, again, it's one of those things with Oxford. Oxford are having a season they probably couldn't have expected. I mean, there are a few places out of the playoff position. They're sitting in 9th, which for Oxford United, it's not a bad season, I can't lie. When you look at some of the teams in and around them, like the West Brom, Sunderland, Burnleys, Sheffield United, Leeds United, Watford, Norwich, Middlesbrough, all these teams are quite large championship teams. I mean, they're sitting in there right now, and that's just mightily impressive. I can't lie. Mightily impressive. Sorry, people are tweeting at me, and I'm not too sure why. Anyway, moving back to some good news. Josh Keeley played midweek for Leyton Orient away to Brentford. They lost 3-1 in the Cup. Again, not making a break in their season. And Jamie Donnelly also starting that game as well. But at the weekend, they reverted back to being on the bench, winning 4-1 away to Stockport. Really good away win for them. I mean, Leyton Orient were sitting in the relegation zone, beating Stockport, who are much higher up in the league than them. That was a really, really big win for them. That's 2 wins in a row as well for Stockport, I think, which is really, really not Stockport, Leyton Orient, which is really, really nice. So I've missed some of your comments. Better come back and chat to you. Any predictions for the Carabao game? Coming to it in a minute, Rec. We're going to do it later in the preview, mate. I want Bergvall to get at least 30 minutes. Annie in chat, happy Tuesday. Man United game for me is a huge game for me, home and away every season. As all my friends and family are Manchester United fans. I hope we rest players for the game Sunday. We'll be there on Thursday night. My quad of matches this month, hopefully 3 wins, but a painful, unfair loss. Everything but a loss versus United away will be progress. Technically, would it be progress? Because we drew 2-2 last season with a pretty injury ravaged team. You know, can't win with some people. We progressed in the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup. We've actually progressed. We're two rounds further in than we were last time. Wait for someone to go. Actually, we had a buy into the 3rd round, so we didn't actually progress that much. All right, Jesus, calm down. I think we win against Man United if we play like we did against Brentford. Agreed. Bergvall must start for Carabao. He needs some minutes as leg. I do see Bergvall playing larger minutes. I can see Bergvall maybe. Because I'm on an R in. We'll talk about Carabao in the preview. Loan roundup forum. Carabao preview later. Morning, Kieran. How are you, mate? We drew United on their dung heap last year with Van der Ven and Madison out, if my memory serves me correctly. Well, we were injury ravaged. So there you go. I mean, Bentancur was playing R10. Bentancur's currently playing R6 role. Make that what you need. There we go. Anyway, moving on to finish up with a little bit of Notts County flavoured news. Notts County, by the way, belter of a season so far. Absolute belter of a season so far. Just want to finish up with them because George Abbott actually played further forward. He normally plays that central midfielder role. He's actually played a little bit further forward, just behind McGoldrick, who's the striker. But they did lose 1-0 at home to Gillingham, and one of those games that it could have gone another way. But Gillingham are in and around Notts County towards the top of League 2. I mean, Gillingham joint top, Notts County 2 points off the top. That was Notts County's first loss of the season. Can't win them all. As much as fans think you should win absolutely every single game, and if you don't, you're a failure, you can't win them all. You really can't. But he's had a great season. George Abbott seems to be like the one guy of all these loan deals that we've had. He's the one guy that I can hold my hat on and say he's the guy that's playing the best. Obviously, Solomon missed the game through injury against Cardiff. Leeds battered Cardiff. I actually watched some of that game. Leeds battered Cardiff. Have you lost the mic stand or something? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a vibe. The mic stand sort of just broke, to be honest. Don't tell Gons that. He still thinks I should be replacing it. But yeah, it broke. So I might need to get a new mic. So I can do my gaming side of things. Even Ali, just a question: do you watch other Spurs pods? I don't, Terry. No, and that's through choice. Yeah. For me, Terry, I've said it a few times before, and a few people probably are bored about me saying it. For me, I like to give you my unadulterated views on subjects, and yeah, it's really just it, to be honest. There are some good stuff. There are some good ones out there. I know a few of you have mentioned quite a few of them. There are good pods out there, I promise. But yeah, I mean, I don't really collab with other Spurs YouTubers. It's not really my thing. But hopefully we do have some collabs coming up soon in terms of other teams. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we'll be doing one. I think it's next month with a Brighton page, which will be good. And yeah, I do need to start doing it with other teams, but we'll see. We'll see. Yes, I also did. Yeah, Robin. I know the season just started, but Ange should give Spence, Bergvall, Archie more game time. 5 minutes so dumb. You can also let them sit on the bench the whole game. Well, Rec, I mean, we're like 6 games into the season. The idea is to be able to smash teams, be 3-0 up, and then throw them on for half an hour, 45 minutes. But we haven't had that luck, unfortunately. So once that luck somewhat changes, they'll start getting more and more minutes, you know? And probably good idea. Another pod has upset every Australian. God, what do they say to by the way, can I just say, to upset an Australian, you've got to say some real wild things, because their like limit on what they can get annoyed by is about 1 million times higher than a British person. So whatever that was said must have been absolutely horrific, because I've never come across an Australian that's been annoyed, and I was there for months. You know, that's shocking. Peace, guns. Anyway, moving over. Let's talk fan forum. Come on, let's get in there. Let's chat about it. There's some interesting stuff out of this. I'm also going to bring some really good stats into the Carabag preview later, by the way, which I think for people that maybe aren't the biggest of Ange fans probably aren't going to like very much, but that's why I do it. There's a few questions. You know, let's start about Daniel Levy was asked about criticism, and he said, I have a very thick skin and I just ignore it. It makes me want to be more successful. Love the energy, right? Not the right energy, though. Not for that kind of question. Constructive criticism is everything, is it not? That's one of the best ways you improve as a person. Constructive criticism. You listen, you take it on board. If you don't take it on board, it's a slight level of arrogance. If you refuse to listen to it, it's normally because you're too defensive, and therefore you know you need to be listening to it, but you refuse to because you're too proud. But to be honest, you need to be listening to some criticism. Not every bit of criticism. I don't listen to every bit of criticism. Trust me, I don't. Half of it is absolute nonsense. But there are other things that you guys go, oh, actually, mate, by the way, X, Y, and Z, and I'll listen to it. Now, the people that go, you know, Son's overrated, he's past it, he's rubbish. Okay, I'm not listening to you. It's just literally factual evidence that he's not. But people that go, Dragic needs to start a bit more. I'll listen to you, because I want Dragic to start more. See what I mean? It's you listen to certain things. There'll be other people that go, actually, Andy, you're wrong on this, by the way. The actual thing is this. Right, you learn from it. So I made a mistake the other day. It was yesterday. I said Spence start against Karabag. Spence is not in the Europa League squad. He can't. Now, Jazz, shout out Jazz, he's always watching the videos, actually said to me, Andy, you forgot he's not in the Europa League squad. Corrected myself. Take it on board. Then someone else commented it. Again, take it on board. You make a mistake, you listen. But that's just a level of confidence you have in yourself to say, yeah, I can take that stuff on and I'll improve from it. We're not perfect as humans, but the level of, I think you could say, somewhat arrogance from that kind of comment does scare me. So that's the idea in his head of, I don't take that criticism on. I want to be better. Fantastic. But I don't think anyone's going to take it in such a way. I think people are going to take it a way of, oh, so you think you can't do wrong? Is that what you're going with it? Because if you think that, Good Lord. Out of touch. Racist comments, Terry. Jesus wept. That's no fun. Yeah, well, if you've managed to upset every Australian, that's never a good sign. Australians are good people. I like Australians. I like them a lot. They're some of my favourite people. So the way that they've gone about that is embarrassing. How could I be upset by an idiot? Oh, Barney, I hope you don't mean me because you've X marks a spot. You've hurt my heart. Fan forum, Daniel Levy's vanity show. Fair enough, Rec. Success to Levy is different to what fans see as success. And I get at the end of the day, as much as we look at it as a football club, it is actually a business. The reason it exists in today's day and age is because it's a business. So I get that. And that's why I've said, the Carabao Cup really, really doesn't bring any money in. Yeah, you might get money from like match days, but tickets are cheaper. The revenue that you make from going through each round is less and less and less. Hence why you see so many teams rotate and change their team. You don't see it as much in the FA Cup because there's a lot more money in the FA Cup. I mean, a lot more money in the FA Cup. But in Europe, there's loads of money. Loads of money in Europe. That's why people talk about if you get top 4, you make tons of cash. You know what I mean? So that's why the club sees it a little bit differently to what we see it as, which I want to come to. One of Daniel Levy's other things that he said. Success for Levy is a profit. People that say Son is finished I have nowhere to describe him. Annie, you must like me. I'm an Aussie. I do like Aussies. I bloody do. Absolutely do. And I won't hear anything otherwise. They asked Daniel Levy his top 3 achievements as chairman, right? And before I give you the answer, if you don't know it, have a think about what you would say if you've been in charge for 2 decades, what your top 3 would be, right? Carling Cup, winning of Carling Cup, you would probably say that's going to be in there, right? Okay, maybe it's not your number 1, but it's in your top 3. It's a trophy win. What have Spurs done in those 20 years? That trophy win, that would be expected. Maybe it's being in Europe for however many years straight and playing Champions League football, beating some of the biggest teams in the world. Maybe that's in there as well. The new stadium, maybe that's your thing as a chairman. Maybe that's your thing. So why on earth is his top 3 Champions League final, opening new stadium, and this is the one that's really irked me. The amazing players the club have had. So, really quickly, he's sitting up on a stage, right? Next to Johan Lang, Ange Postecoglou, and the Spurs men's captain, Heung-Min Son. You had Heung-Min Son and Harry Kane, okay? Spurs' best player in the last however many decades, right? Harry Kane. You didn't build around them, hence why Harry Kane is now playing in Germany. Christian Romero, there's a damn good chance Christian Romero plays for Real Madrid next season. Because you're not building around these players. We seem to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years off the mark. So I don't get that comment whatsoever. I think that's a really, I'm going to be honest, stupid comment. It really is a stupid comment. Well, we Aussies are fun until we're not. Yeah, but to get you guys to not be fun, you got to do a lot. Hi, Amanda Stavely and Merhad Dad's employee Amanda back as the PIF owners. Yeah, well, look, they've been linked to investing in Spurs. The hotel is his new money revenue and spending. That alongside all the other fun activities Spurs have at the stadium. The only way you could be racist in Australia is to make a comment about Aboriginals. The rest of us are a bag of mixed lollies. Yeah, but I like the fact that you're all a bag of mixed lollies. That's why I like you all. Not one person is the same as the other. Bunch of bloody legends is what I think. But yeah, I really dislike the answer. I really did dislike the answer. That last one, I get the Champions League final if you mixed in with, the fact that Spurs, went from being a team that scraped into the top 4, beating teams like Inter Milan, Real Madrid, AC Milan, within their first couple of years of being in the Premier League, the Champions League. being then all the way to the final. I could somewhat get on board with that answer, somewhat. Open the new stadium. I think it's a bit of a lazy answer. But that last one's the one that I think has irked me the most. The amazing players the club have had. That shouldn't have been there. That should have been winning the Carling Cup. That's where that should have answered. That answer, winning the Carling Cup, should have been the number one answer. But at least it should have been in there. Oh, right. And the one that I want to finish off with is the one that I think people have taken really, really badly, because I think some pages didn't put out the full quote. But also, I think some people don't like Ange, and you're never gonna have everyone like you in this world, right? And you don't have to agree with everything Ange said, because I personally don't agree with everything Ange's ever said, or everything Ange's ever done. I don't agree with everything I've ever said or done. So why would I agree with someone, that I don't truly know? But one thing I would say is, people, I think, hear something of Ange and go, right, I'm going to twist that into something that I don't like, and therefore I'm going to spout and shout about that. And that's quite common. It's very sad how common it was. Thank you, Legend. Welcome, Bella. Wasn't moving to the new stadium meant to improve us and bring better players in? Yes. And we've sold the better players. Anyway, but the question goes to Ange, and the question was, is it time to show more pragmatism in games? Teams that win trophies have solid defenses as well as attacks. And let's not talk about, the City Arsenal game at the weekend. Obviously, it was sending off. Those things obviously play a big part into where teams change the way they play. You have to adjust. I get that. Let's not worry about that one too much. Okay. But he responded, "You're spot on, mate, but it won't be us." And a lot of pages only did that because they knew they were going to get interactions on that. He goes on to say, "As much as we want success, there is a Spurs way, and I won't deviate from that." That's why I had no issues with the comment. I had no issues with that comment whatsoever. There is a Spurs way. We watched half a decade of some of the most painful football under Nuno, Conte, Mourinho, and Mason for a little while. We spent years with that. We spent years with win now managers, and then obviously didn't win anything, which, the only one that had stood a chance was Mourinho, and then he got sacked about 5 minutes before the Carling Cup final. And the thing I go with this is, we all then went with it. When it comes to a new manager, we talked about Arne Slot, Julian Nagelsmann. We talk about all, Ange was in that list as well, obviously. Hell, even Vincent Kompany, which, by the way, watch Bayern at the moment, rocking and rolling, playing some really nice football. But the whole point was, we wanted to play nice football again. We wanted to enjoy watching the football. We then got given a manager who plays attacking football, and the playing some of the best football we've seen in a very long time. We played good football under Poch, I would say. Maybe earlier Poch. The football towards the back end of Poch wasn't the best, if I'm honest. I don't think the players suited what Poch wanted to do. But under Ange, Ange had to work with restrictions and requirements from certain people. We're going to leave that there. I'm not going to spout. Of what he's done, and changed the whole philosophy of the club back to being, we want to play the Spurs way. We got that. And then fans got unhappy because we're not sitting 11 men behind the ball when we're 1-0 up at home to Wolves or Brentford or, and there's no dig about those teams. I'm just two teams off the top of my head. Or we get counter-attacked on occasionally, and I get that. I get that you want to take a lead and then go and sit back for the rest of the game and just hold on to those 3 points. I get that. It's not the Spurs way, though, is it? Spurs way is nice, beautiful, attacking football. So we've tried the win now with not nice, not sexy, and not attacking football, and win now. Now we've gone back to the Spurs way, attacking football, what we all wanted, and fans aren't happy. And I get that fans like content. I get fans like Mourinho, and I'm not digging them out. What I have an issue with is stats show, and a lot of people like to say things and then not say the context behind the stats. Okay. Which I always go, well, the context of what you're trying to say is this, hence why this might equal what you're saying, right? The stats show under Ange, we've improved immensely. Like, you know, whatever you might say, you might not think we have, which I'm going to politely say you're wrong. We have improved. Now, I think a lot of people go, I want to do a rebuild, but I want it done in a year. If it's not done in a year, you as a manager need to get out of my club. Which, I mean, God loves the hopeful and God loves the tries, but you're absolutely in cuckoo land. Klopp needed more than 1 year. Arteta's been given 4, 5. Well, I don't know how many years he's in now, but he needed 3 years of finishing in 8th. Now look, they don't play very sexy football in the big boy games, and I think that's where, yes, they may get a point or wins here and there, but they don't play good football. You watch when they had 11 men; they weren't playing nice football, were they? But they get a result. Okay, that's not a problem. I'm not saying they didn't. But people that go, well, look at Man City, look at Arsenal, look at Liverpool. Cool. Can you just come back to where they were at the start of their second season and where they were in their first season, then compare them to where we are right now? And then if you do that, then let's talk. Because what you're doing is comparing us to them when they're 4, 5, 6 years into what they're doing. That's what I don't get. People want ultimate success here and now. If they don't have it, they're upset because they think we're up here, which I love that. I love that you think we're up there. We're not, but I love that you think we're up there, right? And then you have the issue, well, look at who Man City are buying. Look at who Arsenal are buying. Look at who Liverpool are buying. Well, Liverpool's not a fair one. They didn't have a very good window. It's not fair on them. It's not fair on their fans, obviously. But you're comparing them to them. Can we just come back to the start of the second season, the summer of the second season? Where are we there? If you do that, you might find your opinion might just change ever so slightly from being there's so much of a gap between us and the big boys to actually the gap between us and where they were in their second season really isn't much at all, if at all. The gap is actually in favor of us in certain places. Ooh. I already know, by the way, for you guys that are watching this live, I already know in the comments, people are going to try and cook me for that, which, hey, yeah. I'm bloody fed up about people moaning about Ange. Do you want to go back to playing boring football? I bloody don't. Win now didn't work, so I'm not interested in that. Next 2 away games, we tell him United and Brighton. I'm not going to hold my hat on the next 2 games. I'm going to worry about the 38 in the Premier League, the however many we get in the cup competitions. I'll hang my hat on those. Because if we lost those next 2, but then won all of our other away games, we wouldn't care about those next 2. Now, going into the Brighton game, not going 4-0 down would be nice. Going into the Manchester United game, dealing with what we've had to deal with there in the past decades, handling things better, then obviously I want to see that improvement. But, you know, we go into all of our away games. We don't change the way we play. We get on the ball. We knock it around. You know? Spurs motto, dare is to do. This is what Ange's doing. Yeah. It's just, you can't put things any more clearer than that. Trust me, Conte was hard to get up at 3 a.m. at 10 to 14 degrees to waste 2 hours of sleep, falling asleep on the lounge chair. Well, it might, do you know what? It probably put you to some good sleep. To be honest, I used to put the Conte games on, but I'd be doing other things in the meantime because I said, I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours. I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours and watch whatever that is. I'll have the noise on. I'll know when things are happening in the game. I'll watch back the highlights as well. But people that spend 2 hours watching Conte like that, unless you're at the stadium, obviously, if you're at the stadium, it's a whole different beast. If you did that, bloody hell, you're a stronger human than I ever could be. You think he stays if he finishes 8th this season? Again, what's the context? Do we go out in the next round of the Carling Cup? Do we go out in the FA Cup straight away? Do we not go through in Europe? What's the situation? I mean, if he finished 8th, won the treble and cup competitions, do you think he's getting sacked? People don't seem to forget that we're at different stages in our rebuild. Exactly. And do you think from the next 7 league games we lose 4 of those 7? Is Ange in trouble or a pressure? Without looking at the next 7, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Arsenal used to be the biggest banter club. Now they're sadly better than us. But we're at part 2 of 3 in the mission and we'll be cooking. Yeah. They're at a different point in their, you call it an era probably. They're at a different point. We are just over a year in. How many years has Arteta been there? 5 years? You know, he had to go through a rebuild. He had to get rid of, you know, the Aubameyangs and the Ozils and all those players. He had to do that. And the club allowed him to do that. They said, do it. If that's what you want, we'll do it. And then he brought in his guys. And then he could spend 100 million on a Declan Rice because he's built the rest of the team out. People that go, why can't we spend 84 million on Gyökeres? Well, we need to spend money elsewhere. Now, don't get me wrong, Gyökeres is killing it this year. Wow. I didn't expect him to do as well as he has. I thought he'd have a good season, but bloody hell, what is this Moy on? Monel Tel Cockerel, how are you? Levy won't sack Ange now. You were live and didn't know that. Terrible, Marshall. There you go. Les agreed with me. He signed him for 4 years on a project. Yeah. And it's already come out, like a week or 2 ago. The club have no interest in Ange Postecoglou and moving on from Ange Postecoglou. No interest. They're in it for, and the club have even said through the middlemen, they're in it for the long haul. I wouldn't care if we end up getting sick under Ange this season, as long as we see a lot of our players still giving Ange everything they got. Young players adapt to Ange. The players love him. The players absolutely love Ange. You know. That's all right, Marshall. So look, there you go. There's the fan forum. I think there was some pretty ugly things coming out of that, which I don't think would have gone down very well. There was some good stuff that came out in the loan roundup, but some pretty bad, mediocre things as well, which wasn't great. Obviously, later today, Carabag preview. We're going to be doing that. Shout out Mr. Van Gogh, who's given me loads of info. I'm going to be coming out there saying things that none of you would have expected. Shout out my boy Van Gogh. We'll get him. We'll get all the stuff. I'm going to put the quotes in there and everything like that. You can all have it to hand. That'll be later today, probably into the later afternoon/evening. So that'll be there. But thank you all so much for joining me this morning. Look after yourselves. Hopefully you feel a hell of a lot better than I do, because I feel like someone stabbed me in the throat a million times and got a fever. As you can tell, a little bit sweaty. Hopefully I'll be back later this afternoon doing the preview ahead of our first Europa League game under Ange. And hopefully off to a flying start. Enjoy the rest of your mornings, everyone. Enjoy your afternoons. Enjoy your evenings if you're over the other side of the world. And I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Peace out, everyone. Take care.